Take the exit. Turn right into the drive-thru.
Nope, I'm making dinner tonight.
You don't have time. Josh has practice.
Oh, that's right. I'll just get a salad.
And fries?
No, just the salad.
But salad cancels fries.
Salad only.
Fries.
Salad.
Fries.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on the road to successful weight loss.
Hey, can I get the...
Fries.
Salad. Sorry.
Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
All right, it is Car Con Carne, episode number 600. The Night of 1,000 Stars, and from points all across the greater city and suburban map, we have the diet punk band Guardrail. Wait, who are we missing? Doug? No, there's so many of you coming from different locations. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we just need Ken.
Oh, there he is. I have too many windows on here. Okay, now we're all here. Guardrail's here.
Yo!
Yikes, it's Guardrail.
Yikes! Yikes! Thanks for having us.
Last time we heard from Guardrail and Car Con Carne was episode 453, for those of you keeping score at home. I love Yikes. I love what you do. I love your sound. I would have worn my Guardrail hoodie, but it's too damn hot where I'm recording right now.
Mm-hmm.
So understand that I'm wearing you in spirit.
Thanks. It's an honor.
The song, really, I'll figure it out one of these fucking days. I think I'm doing okay. That's really the pandemic anthem for me.
Yeah, dude. It's so crazy because those songs were all written like pre-COVID. So it's seeing how people relate to them now in a currently COVID world is just it's weird and it's awesome.
And Shipwrecked is about as solid a punk anthem as you'll hear all year.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. You guys dipped into TikTok for your first time. Are you famous yet?
Not quite. We got like 20 followers maybe. So we're approaching 1 million slowly but surely.
And I mean, you're known for your sweet dance moves.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think most of our dances, our TikTok dances, we already discussed this. It's just drink a beer while you're listening to our music. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Do you all have a ceremonial beverage as you're joining us tonight? Oh, there we go.
Got it.
I got a Bud Light.
A little bubbly.
All right. There you go. I'm having a diet beverage for my diet punk friends in Guardrail. So it's been several months since last we talked. How's everybody feeling? Are you writing more? Are you working on more stuff? What's on tap for Guardrail?
Yeah, we're slowly but surely working on a full-length album. Got a lot of song ideas. Hopefully going to be recording that later this year and hopefully should be out early next year. We do have a single that we're going to be recording next month and should be out over the summer. So just kind of a standalone single thing. So look forward to that. And yeah, just a lot of writing.
Awesome. Well, I enjoy you guys to no end. If people want to hear your music, where should they go?
Everywhere. Spotify, and etc.
Spotify, etc. All right, Guardrail,
they can go to Bottom Lounge on August 28th.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, we have some shows in the works for hopefully this year. Hopefully they don't get.
Yeah, it's tentative, very tentative, but light at the end of the tunnel. We're getting there.
Right. We just need little glimmers of hope, little signs that things are heading in the right direction.
Exactly. We have some things that we're hoping pan out in the late summer, early fall, and yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing you all in 3D as opposed to video chat.
Absolutely.
We're real humans. We don't live in the computer.
I'll need you to prove that. Hopefully in August.
Happy to.
We will.
All right, Guardrail, thank you for coming on, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for being part of it.
Thanks. Happy 600, man.
Happy 600. Congrats.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
That's Guardrail, everybody. Diet Punk. Car Con Carne, sponsored by our friends at Siren Records in McHenry. I'm James Van Oslo. If you're just joining, we are on hour 4 hours and 17 minutes, and we have a long way to go. In fact, I am thrilled. I'm ecstatic. I am elated to reconnect with this man, Jesse Valenciana. He is the king of food writing, and he knows everything about food and beer and lifestyle. I mean, I first came to know him as the man behind Man BQ, or a man behind Man BQ, a social movement like none other. He's also behind Feast City, which is, in his words, a collective driven by chefs, home cooks, drink professionals, producers, and purveyors who tell the stories of food and drink through shared experiences with the goal to open minds and educate the curious and professional alike. As a food writer, the Man BQ cookbooks have been staples in my home. In fact, Jesse Valenciana, I sent you an email probably a couple months ago. My son is actively cooking. Like, he cooks all the time for the family. And the Man BQ cookbooks have been his go-to for so much.
That's so awesome. When I saw that, it's funny. The guys and I, we talk about that stuff all the time, and just how exciting it is to have other people cook our food. And it felt like when the books first came out, people were either really excited, and then you had I would meet guys on the road when I was working and traveling a lot. People were like, "Oh, I have your book. I bet you my rib recipe is better than yours." And you're like, "You're not getting it, man. It's not about that. It's about cooking this." Like, we were inspired by other people, and in turn, we wanted to inspire others. And then as time progressed, it was cool, getting emails like yours. People are like, "Hey, keep doing what you're doing," or, "Hey, I tried your recipe. I added this to it, and it made it even better, but thank you." And it's like that stuff excites me. Like, that's the whole point of doing what we did. Again, we were inspired by people, and we wanted to show that we learned some things from others, and we were hoping to teach people because we're still learning.
I love it. So I just explained what Feast City is, but I'm not even sure I know what I just read.
It's, that's the food writer in me. Just kind of vomited all those words. No, in the beginning, Feast City was this idea that John Scholl, who's my best friend and co-author in one of the 2 Man BQ books, him and I had talked about doing something that was it was kind of like a post Man BQ thing. Like, when Man BQ started, we were very young. We were in our late 20s, mid 20s. And, it was a different time in our lives, and it was fun, and we rode that wave. But it got to a point where, I wanted to show people that we were more than just like these meat, beer, rock and roll guys. We're still meat, beer, rock and roll, but we also do other things. My sisters are vegan, so I like cooking for vegans. I like cooking vegetarian food. I didn't want to be pigeonholed. And we kind of started talking about this, and I got really busy with work. I was traveling a ton for work, so I couldn't do Man BQ as much. And then in turn, I couldn't really launch what is now Feast City. We were going to call it 4-Star Feast. And then I was like, oh, that's such a, I'm like, it's funny because I'm like, I always look at Chicago flag tattoos, and I'm like, oh, you must be from somewhere else. Because
that is the truth. That is absolutely the truth.
So, it's like calling something 4-Star Feast. People are going to be like, oh my Lord, are these guys from Michigan, and they live in Wrigleyville and are doing this thing? But it didn't end up happening. And then fast forward to me leaving the job I had where I was traveling a lot. And I was like, now I've got the time to launch this collective, this thing that was going to be the way you would appreciate this. The way I always kind of pitched Feast City was, Man BQ was minor threat, and I wanted Feast City to be the Fugazi of my life in food and drink.
I get it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. And then I met with a friend of mine who was looking to invest in Feast City because we were going to do stuff that we wanted to do with Man BQ and never did with Feast City. And she said, I really like what you're doing. I think this is great, but the thing that I'm most interested about is doing these Feast City sauces and food products. I led with all this other marketing stuff, and I was like, oh, and we also want to do some sauces. that we've been making for years that were inspired by other things that we had. She goes, that's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to do this. This is what I would want to invest in. And I was like, huh. And it was like, all right. So like starting the whole movement was something that kind of took a backseat to what's going to be a food, a line of food. So Feast City, all those words aside, we're going to be putting out sauces, condiments, just different food products that we've been making for years. And, it was always our dream to launch a line of food, but for whatever reason, it never just came to be. And now, I think part of it has to do with the pandemic. Like we had all that time on our hands, and it's like you have nothing but time, and you sit there and you try these recipes, and then you tweak them, and then all of a sudden you have something, and then you share with people, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And you're like, "Cool, thanks." And that cool thanks becomes do you think I have something there? And people are like, yes. And, I've always been very entrepreneurial, and I think I do a pretty decent job of getting my friends as excited as I am. And you find two people that want to be your business partners, and there you have Feast City.
I love it. And yes, you do have that entrepreneurial spark. I find it inspiring.
Thank you.
What you did with Man BQ and what you're doing with Feast City. You pulled up the roots. You're no longer in Chicago.
Yeah, it was time. I had been coming down to Nashville since before our first book came out, so almost a decade. We've been coming down here, and I always loved it. And it was a place that I always saw a lot of potential in. But at the time of COVID, I had just taken. I used to work for a very big beer company, and it was amazing. Goose Island taught me everything I ever needed to know about marketing in beer. I will never take for granted what I learned there, but it was time for me to, there was a ceiling, and it was time for me to move on. And I ended up joining another group of breweries, a smaller group in Chicago. And it was really a dream job. And the way things worked, I kind of turned them down the first time they approached me because I didn't know if I wanted to stay in beer. But after taking a few months, I came back around and said, I think I do want to do this. And they happened to reach out to me and said, "Hey, we really want you to be the marketing director for the breweries." And I said, "Fine, this is an awesome opportunity." I took the job. A week after I said yes to the job, COVID became a real thing in Chicago. So, they kept me on as long as they could, but at the end of the day, they were losing so much money. And, these medium-sized companies had to go back to being small companies. And let's face it, marketing, becomes a luxury.
Right.
And what was a necessity before for a small company is not even a thought. It's not even a reality. It's, marketing is for companies that are rolling in dough. And when you're small and COVID is kicking you in the head, the last thing you could think about is marketing. It's survival. And unfortunately, I was the marketing, and they went into survival mode, and marketing wasn't a part of that immediate plan. But I love them. They were super great. And I was left to kind of really think about what I wanted to do. And then on top of all this, I met essentially the woman of my dreams, and she lives in Nashville. And I was like, okay, well, I could either be in Chicago without the woman of my dreams, or I can be in Nashville with the woman of my dreams. And, it just, that outweighed everything. And I love Chicago. I'm born and raised Chicago, and I'll never forget that. But Nashville is, I think it's fitting me very well. I really like it down here. The people are nice. The music scene, people love music. And I thought, in Chicago, like, music is such a huge deal. But down here, people seem to love it, even more, which I never thought could be possible. But that's the reality here. It's really cool.
I've only been to Nashville once, and it was a few years ago, but certainly a cool place to live. The time I went there, it seemed like everything was under construction. Like things were being built, like industry was just exploding everywhere I looked when I went through the town. And the food scene there is great. Obviously the music, I mean, I get it, and we miss you here, but I get it.
It's, you whenever you want to come down here, you'll always have a home down here. You'll always have a buddy to walk around, listen to music, eat a bunch of food. So I would love for you to come visit, man. it's so cool because there's such a rich music history down here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, I'm in the middle of all of it, and it's cool to see the growth because being from Chicago, it's like you kind of know what to expect. But one of the things that I really love about being down here is the food scene is still in its infancy. There's a lot of really cool things going on. Chicago's very old compared to Nashville as far as food and culture. So that's where I feel like I can do something. My girlfriend and I, we cook a lot, and we had been cooking a lot of things, and kind of almost half jokingly, we're like, we should start like an Instagram account, but we hate influencers. So we're like, we don't want to be like this influencer couple. We just want to like share what we're doing. And like, we're homesick, so we want to share what we're doing. And we talked, and we came up with this thing called Homesick together. And I started meeting people in the food world down here, and people were like, well, what are you doing down here? I'm like, I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. And they're like, well, what do you like to do? I'm like, my girlfriend and I cook a lot. And they're like, what kind of food do you cook? I'm like, well, I've written 2 books, and I cook about all this stuff. Or I cook all this different stuff. And one thing led to another. We got offered to do a pop-up with like the hottest food truck down here. Did 2 pop-ups, sold out of a bunch of awesome food, and just started approaching people and just being friends and friendly. And people were like, oh, you should do a pop-up here. You should do a pop-up here. So now I've got one coming up on Saturday at a brewery called Various Artists. And we've got one lined up for the end of May at this new really cool bar in another part of town. It's a place called Otto's. So, it went from like this passion to this real thing. And it's very akin to what Manbecue was.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I love hearing that. All right. So I guess we know what's on tap for you, so to speak. You're busy.
Yeah, a little busy.
I love it. All right. So my plan is, 1, to keep track of what you're doing, because it seems like you're on a roll. 2, find a way to get my ass to Nashville so we can hang out.
Yes, please.
All right, Jesse, I'm so glad we got to reconnect. It's been 459 episodes since last we saw you, or 559. So thanks for doing this, and we'll definitely talk soon.
Dude, congratulations. Keep killing it. I miss you, bud, and I'll see you soon.
All right, later. Thanks, Jesse. Bye.
Bye, man.
Car Con Carne, episode 600. That is Jesse Valenciana, man behind Feast City. Also, before that, one of the co-founders of Manbecue, which was a social movement like none other. Meat, beer, rock and roll. And I'm telling you, so wildly influential, my son uses their cookbooks. Car Con Carne, continuing on with the band Superkick. Hi, guys. Got to fix your mic.
Oh,
there we are.
Now say something.
Hello. Happy 600th episode, James. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you guys, too. I probably said this in an email. If I haven't said it, I'm going to make up for that right now. Sure Thing is one of my favorite songs released in the past year.
No way. Thanks,
Thank
James.
you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It is a quiet, sweet song. Who's Laura Jean Anderson? Because she's great on that.
She was a great. So our manager, Richard, shout out to Richard, you might be watching. We had this EP. It's kind of a long story. We had this EP that was cooking, and we were on tour last March 2020. And we had this EP that we were going to tour in May, and it was this whole thing up through Minnesota and blah, 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 blah. But obviously that got canceled. So then the EP got kind of
no way,
not put on the back burner, but just like, maybe it's not the right time. So we had kind of this extra time, and I put this song together that was kind of, because the rest of the record is very like standard, insane, psycho, whatever.
Volume level. It goes way down on Sure Thing.
Yeah.
100%.
But I think that's kind of, it's stretched into the 7-song whatever thing. But I'm thank you very much for being so kind. I think it really came out well. I think it really does. Tom's kind of joking, but it kind of does make that flow of the record so good. And it really kind of came into its own of like, very cool. So yeah, to answer your question, our manager, Richard, just hooked us up because I had the song that was kind of, the whole song is kind of a 2-person, the first chorus is from one perspective, the second chorus from the other. And it didn't really make sense for me to sing both sides and whatever. So
he could, I've heard it.
Thank you. He, said, I got this great, I know this girl that would be perfect. And she has that great, like, smoky voice that meld so well with mine, which I think is very like, not normally, but like for that song was very kind of not reserved, but just smooth and low. So yeah, it really came together really well. And I'm super glad that we did it. And I'm super glad it comes across so well. Thank you for spinning and listening.
It was like a separate thing. Like, like a pandemic, like everybody's doing Zoom calls and stuff. We have never met.
Yeah, but she was super cool. Like,
I just assumed she was like a friend of yours or someone from a local band I hadn't heard of before.
No, she's doing her own. I think she's from Seattle originally. I mean, we're friends now, but yeah, at the time, no, she was from Seattle. She had just moved to LA, and Richard knew her through some promoter or somebody like that. And she was super down, and I don't know. I think she did a great job. So she definitely carries the song. I'll be the first to admit, but.
I think collaborators.
I think it absolutely shows growth. And it's funny, I was just, as we're talking, I'm looking at, I do the local music show on WKQX. It's called Demo 312. Sometimes I don't pay attention week to week what I'm playing. I'm looking at my playlist. I played Sure Thing on January 10th, January 17th. I really like this song. February 21st. April 11th.
Thank you.
And April 25th.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a radio song to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's extremely kind of you to say.
It's a radio song to us, too.
Well,
agreed.
I like to do that kind of stuff in my downtime or whatever, but it's never been like a Superkick thing to do kind of a more, like we have more mellow songs, but they're usually like the 12th track at the end and whatever. So yeah, it was a different experience to have it be so like, front and center, but I'm super glad that you dig it so much and you've been spinning it. That's super.
And let's be clear, it's no Jock Jam 97, which is your teen spirit.
Yes, I mean that's a little more up tempo, you might say. Yeah, so
it rocks.
The only thing that we've really been kind of working on in quarantine, not the only thing, but is trying to figure out how to incorporate Sure Thing into like the full band set list thing because it's
you can figure it out.
Drop, but I think we got it. I mean, I think we've been practicing quite a bit. So.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
We did an acoustic set not too long ago, and it fit in pretty well. It felt very natural. It's a great like breakup of the set list, just because it's like a variant of our regular style, but we're very comfortable moving in a bunch of different directions. So we've been kind of like experimenting and writing new stuff.
And I think
just
it's trying to branch
off,
I guess is what I mean. Like we branched out a little bit. And it's like, oh, maybe we can do something like this.
I just realized, for the people who are watching on YouTube or Facebook, can you show the Superkick merch?
Oh yeah, I have it on right now.
This is fucking great.
Good. And then Tom, let's pull this one down.
Oh, there's more. There's more, everybody.
It's a quarantine special. I would say they're on back order.
Custom.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend made these.
Made with love.
So,
What am I looking at?
It's a Superkick. So this is a long sort of inside joke, but the Japanese are really into professional wrestling. So they have the Superkick, but this is what Superkick says. So
that's amazing.
Blue t-shirt, bleach tie-dye, and then paint permanent.
It's like
professional merchandise made by us, professional music made by us, content, interviews. We do it all.
Jesus, that shirt is like Google Translate in T-shirt form.
No, it's not. I purposely decided, like, I tried to translate it, but I literally had to like go to the website of New Japan Wrestling, and I looked it up, and I made sure it was official because I knew that there'd be some Google Translate shit in there that wouldn't pay off.
That's fantastic. All right, so Superkick, I look forward to seeing you in person. I look forward to seeing how Sure Thing has worked into your fully plugged set when we emerge from this collective fog we're under. But I enjoy your band, and I really appreciate you chiming in for episode 600 tonight.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us. I mean, you're really holding it down for 4.5 hours and longer. So congrats. Also, 600's a hell of a run so far. So
thank you.
Way to go, Scott.
Nice work.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. That's Superkick on Car Con Carne, episode 600, the Night of 1,000 Stars. Starting to wind down, but we can't go off into the sunset without talking to David Drejas of OutDREJAS. Do you always wear a blazer for professional appearances?
I only dress up for rock and roll. My day jobs work from home, so usually. Here's actually, I got a haircut just for you. This is what I looked like earlier today.
I see the difference. I feel like I just got called into HR and I'm about to lose my job.
I'm actually trying to sell you a used Pontiac.
I don't. What kind of financing do you offer?
In Rocktober we offer 0% APR, but you have to wait till then.
That's my favorite month of the year. That's my favorite time of the year. Outrageous, episode 203. That was the landmark perform inside a car on a dealership floor episode. And for that alone, you will forever be known by me as a wonderful sport. You showed up and you brought the rock to a stationary vehicle in the heart of a dealership that wasn't really sure what was going on. It was wonderful. It was glorious.
They gave us some really cool pens too. You remember that?
I do remember the pens. That's how they get you. First they give you a pen. Next thing you're driving off in a $30,000 car. That's how that works.
Right. That's right.
But seeing you on stage, and we miss seeing you on stage. You're a man whose sheer charisma could shift our planets out of orbit. You're all charisma on stage, all smiles. I cannot wait to see you play live again. You did a live stream during the pandemic, a Zoom, just a conversation. I think that's still going on. That was a long chat you guys did talking about
music. We tried it out. It was fun. It was fun to do. We released our Folsom Prison punk rock cover, which I always joke that we're a country and a Western band, even though we're obviously neither. So it's kind of fun when we play that, and I appreciate you playing it on your show. That was super cool. And it was just kind of fun as a fan of music that we actually had. Dave Rowe was nice enough to play on it. That was Johnny Cash's bassist, and he was extra cool because we didn't just say, "Hey, here's the bass line." Like, we actually had our bassist write a slightly different line for his song, and then had him also play stand-up bass on it. And so not a lot of people would do that, right? So there's truly no ego there. That was really cool of him. So we have two basses on that one.
The stand-up bass is one of the coolest instruments in rock and roll.
It was, and how else are you going to get to work with that? You gotta bring in the big guns. So
that was it for sure. So how's your pandemic been? Have you had a good pandemic?
I've had a good pandemic personally. As good as because I'm not missing anybody at the dinner table. I'm not I'm thankful for that kind of stuff, obviously. And then just a lot has gone on. I bought a house now in Dyer, so I'm 400 feet from the border, so don't give me too much grief about Indiana. I'm settling into being, I guess, a little bit part-time Hoosier, but it's been fun. As far as Outrageous goes, the thing I'm most excited about, I've got the studio in the basement. I've been jamming on it. My day job, I'm a software engineer. I actually work for NASA now. That's another new thing that happened.
Wait, for real?
For actually, yeah, JPL in California. Dude, I do the Mars stuff.
I don't want to talk out of turn. Forget the music stuff.
That's a fairly new job, but I can't talk too much about it. Obviously, a lot of details, but it is cool.
You're the coolest guest we've had all night. I've been on for almost 5 hours. You're the coolest. We had to wait to get this. This is great.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm quite the geeky nerd. Outside of, I know like 10 or 11 computer languages, how to program them. I don't know. I could tell you a story about how I wrote a calculator virus when I was in high school. Like I have, I'm the residential geek of the band, I guess, world.
You're like a comic book supervillain. That's like the origin story. Like in high school, the antisocial kid who rewires kids' calculators to do nefarious things. That's how like Dr. Savannah started in Shazam, I think.
Yeah, the only thing separating me is I do own a cape, but I keep it in the closet. So if I start wearing a cape at shows, you'll know. That's actually how I started out. I mean, I've always been a guitar player or whatever, but I couldn't find a band. I told you a story on our other episode, so I don't want to like go into it too much necessarily, but I couldn't find people who wanted to play with me for a long time. So like, I mean, anybody even watching, like it's not always like easy to find those people, you know? And so I just joined a metal band, and I was a bass player in a metal band for like a year and a half, just cause, you know, why the hell not? And that was my getup. I wore a cape. I didn't have the suit. I wore the dress shirt and the cape. Because if the guitar strap actually gives me rug burn, because I move around so much.
You do.
So that's why I always like, and it's lame to have a collared shirt on, I think a little bit. Like I'm a punk rock guy. So I need to make sure that my tie doesn't fit quite right, that my shirt's a little stained. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of gives that, I want to sell you used cars, not new cars, you know, kind of a feel. But yeah, the NASA thing, you know, I'm pretty good at something called ServiceNow, and it's worked out well for me. And now I'm leading my own little technical team over there. So it's pretty cool.
I love it. And talking to you reinforces the fact that I have no marketable skills outside of broadcasting. Not the way I wanted to end this 5-hour broadcast, feeling as though I've accomplished nothing in life, but good for you.
I'm sorry. You know, I have I wanted to see, you know, what obviously what you want to talk about, but I had a story I wanted to share. I was thinking about earlier today, and I thought this would be a cool thing to share, especially episode 600. It's, you know, you're the Chicago legend, JVO, you know. So some of the other Chicago legends, obviously, and you know, you don't want to boost anybody's ego too much, but I think it's 100% true. Lucky Boys Confusion, right? They are a big deal. I want to give them a shout out, and I want to tell a little story about how cool they've been to us.
Oh, please do. You know, Kastube was on earlier tonight.
Oh, well, perfect. Okay. So I was out getting my haircut. So, you know, first time we met them, we were opening for them in Valparaiso at a place called Big Shots. Doesn't exist anymore. And I didn't bring a backup guitar, and my guitar didn't work. So Adam just let me use one of his guitars. Never met me before. We weren't friends. He just was like, I'm going to help the opening band out. Go ahead and use it. I don't know who else would do that. And then, I mean, that's cool. And then Stubby, he goes out and, you know, I joined a fantasy football league of his. It was like a Lucky Boys fantasy football league, you know, because he's obviously a huge Bears fan, huge football fan. And I am too. I mean, I'm my proudest achievement in life is probably owning fuckthepackers.com. Like that's
right. I forgot you own that.
Yeah, it goes right to our music, and I love that, and I'll always love that.
Fuckthepackers.com. If you want to learn more about Outrageous, fuckthepackers.com. That's amazing. That is just domain squatting at its finest.
It's the best $15 I spend a year. So anyway, to get to my story anyway. So Stubby, I'm in there and I'm like, hey, can you play, you know, can you sing on one of our songs? It'd be so great if you sang on one of our songs, you know? And he said, yeah, you know, I'll think about it, you know, whatever. Like he's a nice guy. And I keep texting him because he made the mistake of giving me his phone number, right? So I keep texting him like, hey, can you, and I didn't know what to have him sing on, right? I didn't want him to have to like write lyrics. If it's an original song, then you're more tied to what the lyrical content is if you're singing it. So I just thought, you know what? We covered Dayman from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And Dayman, you know, Dayman, like there's that part. And I'm like, I can't hit that. Not in the way I want, right? So I'm like, I know this is stupid, but can you come to a studio and just go, a bunch of times? And so he calls me. Finally, I guess he was bored one Friday, you know, and he's like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll be ready in an hour. And I'm a burbs kid. I don't live in the city. So at the time, I'm living in Homewood, you know, and so like, all right, I got to drive to the city and I got to find a studio and I got like an hour. And luckily I made some calls, Mystery Street Recording, you know, we get to go in there. I pick him up. I think he was at a bar. We pick him up and he goes in there and he's looking at me and he's like, so coach me. What do you want me to do? And I'm like, you're Stubby. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm the producer of this song, but come on. Like, I don't know. I don't have the confidence to give you advice on how to sing better. Like, that's ridiculous. But I tried my best and he did his thing. And then just at the end, he goes, all right, I've got an idea and I can only do it one time because I'm going to throw my voice out when I do it. And I'm like, okay. And he just, it was studio magic. He just went in there and he belted out this like amazing, like bridge kind of ending thing. Like the song is just 7 choruses in a row. So it's hard to, but it just like, that's our number 1 song right now on Spotify.
I believe it.
Like,
I totally believe it.
That's like we've actually hit record numbers this week, and it's because that song is landing on Spotify playlists and stuff. And like, it was cool before he got involved, but it wasn't as cool. It wasn't nearly like he. So just a huge shout out like to them. And I don't know, like there's not like a lot I'm ever gonna be able to do to help them out. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to say a nice feel-good story, just as my own appreciation, just for they've been cool to us for like several years now. And that's just not something that you see. So I shout out to them, appreciate them, and wanted to get that on the air.
I love it. Okay, Outrageous. We can hear your stuff on Spotify. We can hear your version of Dayman.
That's right.
What's next? Is there more stuff coming?
There's some more stuff coming. We have a couple songs that are finished. We're working on artwork. Actually, the song I sang on your last show is going to be the next song that comes out. It's called We'll Fight the Fight. It's our ballad. We got the saxophone player from my favorite band, George Thorogood, on there,
Nice.
Leach, and he's super cool too. I feel like all I do is name drop, and I'm sorry, but he added a lot to that song. So that's my mom's favorite song. I feel like that's the you know, all right, I scream a lot into a microphone, but I sing here, you know, kind of a song where it's good. And then we've got Engage coming out. That is our, hey, veterans, we really care about you. Please, you know, we're here for you kind of. It's a more meaningful time, you know what I mean, kind of a song. There's a lot of suicides and stuff, and that's kind of we wrote that with a veteran friend of ours. We, you know, always when we play that live, we always try to say, hey, make some veteran friends, you know, reach out, talk to these people. Like they're awesome, and we really appreciate them, and that's all it takes sometimes. It's just they just need to know somebody gives a shit once in a while. So that's our message with that, and that's coming out. And you know, I'm just having a ton of fun in the basement. So there's going to be a lot more, a lot quicker. After I feel I'm going to learn quickly, I think, what I'm doing down there. I hope so. Awesome.
All right, David, thank you for being part of episode 600. Great to see you. Put on a t-shirt for fuck's sake. It's 10:21 at night.
Feel better. I'm wearing sweatpants.
Okay, I feel a little bit better. All right, great seeing you. We'll look forward to new music. Thank you, David Outrageous of Outrageous. It is Car Con Carne episode 600. I see the light at the end of the tunnel as we're approaching the 5-hour mark. Joined by, is it just Mickey from Till Morning?
Yeah, it's just me. The other dudes are in Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Parkers of Till Morning are MIA, which is fine.
Yeah, they ditched me.
I can think of no better way to close the guest list, the guest roster, than Mickey of Till Morning making his second appearance. This is like if you're familiar with Live Aid and the way that played out in the 1980s. Phil Collins played in London, then jumped on the Concorde and played in Washington, D.C. That's like you tonight. You were here with Blood People earlier, and now you're to close the show. You're here representing Till Morning. You're the
I'm all over the place.
And Phil Collins played drums.
Yes.
This is crazy. You are the Phil Collins of Car Con Carne.
I hope so.
So since the Parkers aren't here, what's going on with Till Morning?
We're working on a lot of new music. That's pretty much what has kept us going through all of this. I mean, we got some music videos under our belt that we're just figuring out when we're going to release and how we're going to release it. And if it's going to coincide with doing an EP or an album, or we don't know.
Okay, still sounds like a big fat hit to me.
Yeah, and we got more of those.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of melody coming out of
yeah. Those. It's nice to be behind those guys while they're playing.
Yeah, I bet. And I saw you play with Till Morning. It was the Mess show, right?
Yeah, that was like my second show at the band, something like that.
Before the world broke, that was like January of 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I literally joined the band at the beginning of 2020, so there was a good 3 months before the world shut down.
Right, and I caught you in that brief window.
Yeah, and then since then we've just been writing and recording.
Love it. All right, we'll keep looking for new Till Morning music. Mickey, thank you for bookending or being a part of the show twice.
Yeah,
tonight.
I even sat in my car for this one.
Well, I appreciate that. Always good to see you. I hope we stay
Likewise.
in touch. All right, I'm going to wrap things up, but thank you for joining yet again, and say hi to the Parkers for me.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good night. That's Mickey from Till Morning. Also, Mickey from Blood People. I'm going to bring producer Giorgio back on if he doesn't mind.
Not at all.
There's a part of me that kind of wants to stretch this out for another 7 minutes just to say it was 5 hours long. I don't know if I have another 7 minutes in me.
I mean, I got 1 minute. Hold on.
Are you going to bring the dog back? There it is. I want to thank Giorgio publicly, who really helped out for no reward other than just a way to kill a night. So
True.
Thank you, Giorgio.
I had nothing better to do, so.
That was fun. Thank you for your help.
That was awesome. And, congrats. I can't believe you did this for 5 hours either. Seamlessly.
I don't know about seamlessly.
Well,
it gets a little hairy when people don't show up. It's like,
that's true.
I have no content. It's not like I have show prep prepared. It's not like a radio show. Well, let's talk about this news story. I've got nothing. I don't know where to go now, but more or less it worked out. And I want to thank all the people who showed up tonight. And it was probably like 25 different guests. So that was awesome. All right, Giorgio, I'm going to send you on your way. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching and for listening. If you watched for any part of this 5 hours, greatly appreciated. Car Con Carne continues again tomorrow night, episode 601 with Mike Vanderbilt. And at some point, it will return to the car, and we'll keep doing shows just like this, streamed. Thank you for your support. Thank you for if you listened or watched it all over the past 7 years. I greatly appreciate it, and hope you'll be there for the next 600. Thanks again for watching. I need to go to sleep. Thank you.